My parents invited the whole family on a luxury vacation, except me. Said they couldn't afford the extra ticket. So I booked the same resort, under my mom's maiden name. They didn't recognize me until the final dinner, when I stood up to make a toast. My name's Ethan. I'm 23. And the moment I knew my parents never really saw me as part of the family was when I found out they went on a luxury vacation without me and told everyone I just couldn't get the time off. That was a lie. I hadn't even been invited. It started with a photo, or more specifically, a boomerang on Instagram. My cousin Jamie posted it around 10 a.m., her holding a drink, the ocean in the background, the caption, "Family trip vibes." At first, I didn't even register it. I figured it was an old picture from spring break or something. But then I saw the background. The people. My sister, Kayla, in her white sun hat. My brother, Zane, doing that obnoxious thumbs-up pose he always does. My mom. My dad. All lined up around the pool. Laughing. Holding cocktails. They were all there. Except me. My chest felt weirdly cold. I zoomed in just to be sure. No, it wasn't an old picture. That was the swimsuit my dad had just bought from Amazon a week ago. And Kayla had posted her engagement ring 2 days earlier. This trip was happening right now. And nobody told me. I stared at the photo for way too long. I wasn't angry yet. Just numb. I texted my mom. Me? Hey, where are you guys? Mom, we're just taking a little break, sweetheart. Things have been so hectic. Me? Didn't think to invite me? Mom, it's not like that. It was last minute. We just didn't have the budget for an extra ticket. Mom, you've been so busy lately, we figured you wouldn't want to come anyway. Budget. Right. Because that was a $3,000 per person resort I was looking at. And they couldn't afford an extra ticket for their eldest son. The son who had picked up the groceries when Dad was recovering from surgery. The one who helped Kayla with her tuition paperwork. The one who lent Zane money when he crashed the family car and didn't want to tell Dad. The worst part? It wasn't even that they left me out. It was that they lied. They assumed I wouldn't find out. I didn't even reply. But I opened a new tab. I typed in the name of the resort from Jamie's boomerang. The Solana Reef, Nassau, Bahamas. 5 stars. All-inclusive. Adults only. I sat there staring at the book now button for a long time. I knew I shouldn't do it. I had about $5,000 in savings and no idea what emergencies life could throw my way. But I hit reserve anyway. One ocean view room. Under the name Ethan Whitmore. Except this time, I didn't use my last name. I used hers. My mom's maiden name. It felt impulsive. Petty, even. But after 23 years of being left out, ignored, and overlooked, I just needed to see it. I needed to watch what it looked like when they forgot I existed. When I landed at Linden Pindling International Airport, the sun was blinding and the breeze was warm and soft like someone apologizing. The resort driver was waiting with a sign, Mr. Whitmore. That was me now. Not Ethan Jameson. Not the third child they forgot to include. Just Mr. Whitmore. At the front desk, I tried not to sweat as I handed over my passport and confirmation. The woman smiled warmly, tapping on the keyboard. Ah, you're here a day earlier than the main wedding group. Lucky you. Wedding group? Oh, right. Kayla's engagement. They were turning the whole vacation into a pre-wedding family celebration. And I wasn't even a guest. I checked in, got my key card, walked to my room like a ghost trying not to be seen. The first time I spotted them, it was surreal. They were at the beach bar. Mom in her white maxi dress, sipping what looked like a daiquiri. Dad was in his ridiculous, I'm retired, do-it-yourself hat. Zane was flirting with a waitress. And Kayla? She was the star of the show. She was practically glowing. Her ring caught the sunlight like it was showing off. Nobody looked like they missed me. Nobody looked like they remembered I existed. I ordered a drink from the far end of the bar and slipped away before anyone turned their head. I'd stay out of sight. For now. I spent the first 2 days playing a strange kind of hide-and-seek with people who didn't even know they were supposed to be looking. Every time I spotted them, at the pool, at the beach, at the buffet, I changed course. Sat with my back turned. Wore sunglasses, kept my baseball cap low. You'd be surprised how easy it is to disappear when no one's really watching for you in the first place. I was a ghost in paradise. The funny part? No one noticed. No flicker of familiarity. No lingering glance. If anything, it was almost impressive. I was that forgettable to them. But then came the rum tasting. The resort offered all kinds of little premium experiences, beach yoga, sunset cruises, wine and cheese pairings. I signed up for one that I figured my family wouldn't touch. An afternoon rum tasting tucked in the back of a breezy cabana on the far end of the resort. Except I was wrong. About 20 minutes in, I heard her voice behind me. Oh, I didn't realize this was included with the package. It was my mother. I froze. I had a glass of aged rum halfway to my lips. I turned my head just enough to see her in my periphery. She was alone, still in her cover-up and sun hat, flipping through the tasting guide with her usual fake enthusiasm. I turned quickly, looked down, tried to think fast. The host came over with a smile. Our next sample is from Barbados. Anyone here from the islands? I cleared my throat, softened my voice, and said the first thing that came to mind. Grew up in Kingston. Live in Atlanta now. My mom looked at me and smiled. Not a hint of recognition. You sound American, she said, almost flirtatiously. I smiled back. Been there long enough to lose the accent, I guess. She laughed. You here alone? I nodded. Work retreat turned solo escape. You. Family thing. Pre-wedding trip. My daughter's getting married. Congrats. And that was it. We talked for about 10 minutes. About the weather. About the rum. About how beautiful the water was. She called herself Maggie, which she only does with strangers. Never once used her real name. And she never asked mine. That night, I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling fan, thinking about how I'd just had a full conversation with my own mother, and she didn't recognize me. Not my voice. Not my face. Not the scar on my right hand from when I broke her favorite serving bowl in 5th grade. Nothing. It was a weird mix of freedom and sadness. I could do anything here, and she'd never know. Over the next few days, I saw them constantly. But I never got caught. I was always just Eli Whitmore, the chill guy from Atlanta. Sometimes I'd cross paths with Kayla or Zane, but they were too busy taking selfies or trying to impress other guests to notice. The more I watched, the more I realized how much they performed being a happy family. My dad played the doting husband. My mom gushed about Kayla's big day. Zane made bad jokes at every dinner table. But when the cameras weren't up, it was different. I started hearing things. It began on day 4. I was sitting on a balcony near the adult-only pool, reading a paperback I hadn't even opened since the plane ride. 2 floors down, I heard voices echoing from one of the cabanas. I recognized my mother's tone instantly. That sugary, judgmental voice she used whenever she was about to say something awful wrapped in politeness. She's making a mistake, my mom was saying. I don't care how nice he is, if he doesn't have a 6-figure salary by now. What kind of provider is he going to be? My stomach dropped. She was talking about Kayla's fiancé. I just think we should postpone the wedding until he proves himself, she added. Maybe we can nudge her in that direction. Gently, another voice responded, my aunt, I think. She said, I thought you liked him. And my mom? She laughed. I like him more than Ethan. But that's not saying much. That one stung. I hadn't even been part of the conversation, and I still ended up being the punchline. Later that night, I made my way back to the beach bar. It was late. Quiet. Just me and the bartender, a guy named Malcolm who I'd been tipping well all week. He leaned over casually as I nursed my drink and said, your folks sure know how to party. I didn't correct him. You been seeing that guy around? Who? Older guy. Ball cap. Keeps ordering doubles and taking calls near the towel stand. Always has a different story about who he's here with. He pulled a face. Caught him making out with a woman half his age behind the spa earlier today. Thought he was with that lady in the sun hat. I nodded slowly. He is. Malcolm raised an eyebrow. Then he's about to be in a whole lot of trouble. I didn't say anything after that. Just sipped my drink. Let the ocean air cool the fire in my chest. So my dad was cheating. My mom was manipulating Kayla's engagement behind her back. And apparently, I was still the worst one in the family. I came here thinking I was the outsider. Turns out, I might be the only one not faking it. And the funny thing is, I hadn't even made my move yet. But I was getting close. By day 5, I wasn't just observing anymore. I'd gone from shadow to saboteur. Something changed in me that morning. Something quiet and permanent. I watched my family walk past the breakfast buffet like royalty, plates piled high, laughing like the world loved them back. And I realized something. They weren't just okay without me. They were better without me. Or at least, that's what they wanted to believe. That I was the problem. The one who was too sensitive. Too dramatic. Hard to include. So I decided, fine. Let me really be the problem. It started with the spa schedule. Most guests never look at the clipboard behind the front desk. I did. I saw my dad's name, under a couple's massage booking. But the other name? Not my mother. It was a woman named Sienna. I didn't recognize the name, but I didn't need to. Because I recognized the time. 4:30 p.m., right after Dad's supposed golf outing. I stopped by the massage check-in desk early, pretending to be lost. And as luck would have it, their cabana shared a thin bamboo divider with the men's sauna. I slipped in, turned on my phone's voice memo recorder, waited, and I heard everything. Her giggle, his "your trouble" voice, the soft sound of a kiss, and worst of all, his voice saying, my wife thinks I'm still on the 14th hole. I didn't listen to the whole thing, just enough to feel the pit in my gut turn into a quiet resolve. That night, I sat alone in my room, sipping water, staring at my phone. I had the recording. I had the timing. I had the knowledge that the entire family structure was built on this weird, crumbling foundation, one where nobody really trusted each other. but everyone was too fake to say it out loud. Except me. And that's when I wrote the note. To the Whitmore family table. Thank you for a week of wonderful entertainment. The fake smiles, the whispered betrayals, the audacity. Truly impressive. Next time you plan a drama-free trip, maybe don't leave behind the only person who knows how to keep a secret. Love. You're missing disappointment. I folded it, slid it into an envelope, walked down to the main dining area around 7:30 p.m. when I knew they'd be seated for dinner. I wore a black linen shirt, kept my hair tucked under a sun hat, and waited until their backs were turned. Slid the envelope onto the table, disappeared into the crowd. I didn't stay to watch them read it. But Malcolm, the bartender, texted me 15 minutes later. Malcolm, bro, your mom looks like she just saw a ghost. Everyone at their table dead silent. That silence. That was the first time in my entire life I felt heard. It wasn't just revenge. It was reclamation. A small, sharp piece of dignity I'd carved out for myself in the middle of paradise. I didn't sleep much that night. Too much adrenaline. Too much planning. Because the next night, the final dinner, that was the night they would remember me. Not just as a name they left off the itinerary, but as the son they underestimated for far too long. The resort called it the Seabreeze Celebration Dinner. A soft jazz band played near the back. White tablecloths billowed in the breeze. Candles flickered in glass holders filled with shells. Staff bustled around carrying trays of champagne and creme brulee. Everyone was tan, full, slightly drunk, and pretending the week had meant something deeper than room service and poolside cocktails. I showed up early, not as a guest, as a speaker. That afternoon, I visited the concierge desk and asked, politely, formally, if there would be any guest remarks at the closing dinner. The woman smiled. We do a short, open toast segment near the end. It's optional. Guests can say thank yous or share a memory. Could I sign up? Of course. Name. I hesitated just long enough to make it meaningful. Then, Ethan. Ethan W. She wrote it down. I watched her tuck it neatly onto the clipboard. And just like that, I was on the program. My family arrived fashionably late, as always. Mom wore a coral dress with big earrings and a tired smile. Dad walked behind her like the king of something small. Kayla glowed again. New nails, new heels, still the golden child. Zane scrolled through his phone behind them, smirking at something no one else could see. I sat at the far end, near the lanterns, close to the speaker stand. Nobody recognized me, not even when I stood up and took the mic. I started simple. Hi, my name's Ethan. A few guests clapped automatically. My family didn't. They were too busy trying to place the voice. I smiled out into the night. This week's been something else. Beautiful sunsets. Great food. Lots of memorable moments. More polite laughter. Still nothing from my family. I let my eyes scan the crowd. I didn't linger on them, but I felt their presence like heat. I met a lot of people this week. Some I already knew. Some I didn't recognize right away. It's funny how vacations do that. They strip away your routine, your masks. You see people for who they really are. I saw my mother shift in her seat. Some people come here to relax. Some come to pretend. And some come to observe. I let the silence stretch just long enough. To the couple in the spa who thought the bamboo wall was soundproof, don't worry. I won't play the audio. A ripple of shocked laughter. My dad coughed. To the woman I met at the rum tasting, you have a great laugh. It was strange talking to you. Familiar, even. Like we'd met before. My mother stiffened. But I guess that's the thing. We can be close to people for years, and they still don't really see us. Now they were staring. All of them. Zane looked pale. Kayla whispered something to her fiancé. My dad blinked hard. My mom had her hand near her mouth like she was holding something in. I leaned in slightly. I wasn't invited to this trip. Didn't even know it was happening until I saw it online. A family celebration. A vacation of a lifetime. Just -1. Dead silence now. But it's okay. Really. Because I got something better than a seat at the table. I looked directly at them then. Calm. No anger in my voice. No shaking hands. I got perspective. I handed the mic back to the host. Walked past the tables, not looking left or right. I didn't need to see their reactions. Because for the first time in my life, I'd already said everything that mattered. I didn't rush out after the toast. I walked. Unhurried. Calm. The way you walk when the weight's finally shifted off your shoulders. Behind me, I could hear the voices start, chairs scraping, murmurs rising, one of the glasses knocking over. But I didn't turn around. I made it halfway to the resort lobby before I heard someone yell my name. Ethan. I didn't need to look to know it was her. My mom caught up, grabbing my arm just as I passed a planter full of orchids. She looked flushed, like she'd run a mile. Her makeup was starting to melt in the humidity, but her tone was still sharp. What the hell was that? I didn't answer right away. She searched my face like she still couldn't believe it was me. How long have you been here? She demanded. Since the day before you arrived. Her mouth opened, closed. Then she stepped back like I'd slapped her. You booked this whole trip just to embarrass us? No, I said. You did that part yourselves. She blinked, stunned. I let the words hang in the space between us. Then I added, I didn't come to expose you. I came to see for myself. Whether I was overreacting. Whether I'd imagined it all. And you made it pretty easy. That's when my dad appeared, still carrying his drink, though now it was sloshing in his hand. He didn't say a word, just stood behind her, arms crossed, face red. Kayla came next. She looked more confused than angry. Zane trailed behind, visibly amused until he realized no one else was laughing. They formed a little half-circle around me, like I was a suspect in a lineup. My dad finally spoke. You think you're better than us? That actually made me laugh. No, I said. I think I'm done needing your approval. He snorted. This is your big revenge. A toast. It's not revenge, I said. It's a reminder. A reminder of what? I looked him in the eye. That you can cut someone out without even realizing it. And one day, they might stop bleeding and start building something on their own. That shut him up. My mother tried again, voice trembling now. You should have told me how you felt. You should have said something. I did. 100 times. You called me dramatic. Said I was making things about myself. Kayla broke in. Mom, is this true? My mom's head snapped toward her. Don't start. That was when the real cracks started to show. Kayla stepped back. You said Ethan couldn't come because he had work. I said we couldn't afford. He offered to help with my wedding. And you left him behind. Zane muttered. This is so embarrassing. I looked at him. Don't worry. You'll still be the favorite. I've vacated the position. I turned to go. My mother's voice followed, soft and small this time. Ethan, wait. Please. Just tell me what you want. I paused. And that's when it hit me. What I wanted wasn't anything they could give me anymore. So I said the only thing I could think of. I want you to feel what it's like to be left out of something that matters. And tonight, you just did. I didn't wait for a response. I walked away. Back to my room. Back to myself. The silence that followed me. It didn't feel empty. It felt earned. I left the island before sunrise. Didn't wait for breakfast. Didn't check out at the desk. I tossed the key card on the nightstand and left a note for housekeeping that just said, Room's all yours now. Thanks for the silence. The airport was still sleepy when I boarded. I sat by the window, put my phone on airplane mode, watched the ocean shrink into nothing. No part of me wanted to look back. When I got home, I didn't tell anyone I was back. I didn't post anything. I didn't text the family. I just unpacked, ran a load of laundry, and went for a long walk through my neighborhood like nothing happened. Because in a way, nothing had happened. At least, not to them. They'd go back to their filtered photos and shared Facebook memories, painting the week as a perfect, bonding family trip. But I knew the truth now. And more importantly, so did they. A few days passed. Then a message popped up on my phone. Unknown number. It was from Jamie, my cousin. The one who'd posted that first photo. Jamie, holy crap. I just heard what happened at the farewell dinner. You're a legend. Jamie, you should have seen your mom's face. She looked like she saw the ghost of family therapy. Jamie. Also, low-key, Zane tried to act like it was a planned joke. Nobody bought it. I laughed for the first time in a while. Then I blocked the number. Later that week, I got an email from Kayla. Not a call. Not a voice note. Just a plain old email with the subject line. I didn't know. Inside, she explained that she hadn't realized they'd left me out intentionally. That she thought I just hadn't wanted to come. That she was sorry. That she'd understand if I didn't come to her wedding. I sat with that email for hours. Finally replied, I'll come if I can give a toast. She didn't respond. Not for a week. Then she wrote back. Deal. I never heard from my parents. No apology. No explanation. Just silence. And that was fine. Because sometimes the absence of someone's voice says more than anything they could scream. Since then, I've been okay. More than okay, really. There's a strange freedom in no longer waiting to be chosen by people who never really saw you. I still keep the note I wrote them. Not out of spite. Just as a reminder that when you stop trying to earn someone's love, you start remembering your own worth. The last night at the resort, I sat on the beach long after everyone else had gone inside. I watched the waves and thought about all the birthdays, the Christmases, the school plays where I sat quietly in the background. I used to think being invisible was the worst thing in the world. But now I realize it can also be a weapon. If they don't see you coming, they never see the moment you finally leave. And when they look around and realize you're really gone, it's already too late to follow. And that's the story. If you're still here, that means you're one of us. So go ahead, hit that subscribe button. I drop new chaos every single day, and trust me, tomorrow's story, it's even worse than this one.